Hey everyone, I'm Mark. I am today going to do a little video about Aurora Serverless 2. So AWS have just GA'd Aurora Serverless 2. So I thought it's worthwhile having a look at it, doing some testing and showing the results on YouTube. So let's have a look. So to do some testing, I have created 4 different database instances. I've created a large database, an R6G2XL. I've created a T3 medium. I've created 2 serverless instances as well. So I've got one which goes down to 0.5 ACUs as its base, and one that has a base of 3 ACUs. So an ACU is a measurement of serverless compute power. And the idea of serverless is that you pay for what you use and it will scale up and down depending on the database load. So the one at the bottom, which I've labeled small, is going to start with the lowest possible setting of 0.5 ACUs, and the large one is going to start at 3 ACUs. So to see how our serverless clusters are performing, we need to be looking at how many ACUs are being used at any one time. If you go into the endpoint itself and look in the monitoring tab, you would expect to be able to see this chart. Well, it's not here. I don't know why. I may be missing something. If anyone can point out where I'm going wrong, please do so. I would have thought it would be obvious because this seems to be the most important stat, but no. The only way I know of capturing the amount of ACUs being used at any one time is to go to the CloudWatch Management Console. So here we've got the serverless database capacity, which is the important metrics. This is the number of ACUs being used at any one time. And right now we have our large instance using 3 and our small using 0.5, exactly how it should be. So we're going to run a couple of tests and see how well these databases scale. I've got an EC2 instance that's just going to run some simple queries against each of those databases. So the database servers are running the exact same database on each of them, the same data, and I'm going to be running the same query on each of them. Very simple select star, where it's getting a random row from the database. It's doing a cast as well, adds a little bit of CPU load. We just want to see how it performs really. So I've got my 4 databases here, and we're going to be looking at a summary report at the bottom with the results in. So let's go. So as we can see, the serverless small instance is really poor. So we're looking at 4 to 5 seconds per query here, whereas the 2XL is coming back in 93 milliseconds. It is quickly scaling though. So it's now 1.5 seconds, 1.3 seconds. It's quickly coming down, which means the ACUs are probably scaling up quickly. Both the large, which started on 3, and the small, which started on 0.5 ACUs, were behind the T3 medium for quite a while. But you can now see that the serverless large instance has overtaken the T3 medium, and also the serverless small has overtaken it as well. So the milliseconds it takes to run one of these queries is certainly coming down, which means the serverless databases must be scaling up. But they are still way behind the 2XL. So let's fast forward and see what the results look like after 2,000 samples. After 2,000 samples on each of the databases, we can see the serverless instances did come down significantly. On average, throughout the whole 2,000 samples, it's still at least twice as high, or the latency is twice as high as the 2XL, but comfortably beats the T3 medium. Let's have a look at how our ACUs scaled up during those tests. So you can see as soon as we started the tests, they both scaled up significantly. And they seem to have peaked around 6 ACUs. Because of the intensity of the queries, I was expecting them to jump a little bit higher than that, but it seems like they have topped out around 6 ACUs on both of them, which means we would expect right now to be getting similar performance on both the serverless large and the serverless small. So let's run our test again and see what stats we get. So straight away you can see that the serverless instances are coming in around 150 to 100 milliseconds, way faster than the 5 seconds we were experiencing at the beginning of the previous tests. Both of the serverless instances are now around 100 milliseconds, which is not far behind the 2XL. The T3 medium is almost 10 times slower than the serverless instances right now. So let's fast forward to so that we've got 2,000 samples on each of the databases and look at the results. Okay, that is 2,000 samples run on each of the databases. Wow, we can see that on average, the serverless instances were getting around 100 milliseconds per query. Pretty much forget about the T3 medium now. The 2XL database was still a little bit faster than the 2 serverless instances. So let's have a look at the ACU count. Now, this time, they didn't seem to scale up at all. They seem to be pretty much consistently around 6 ACUs each. I don't know why that didn't scale up. Previously, we saw it shoot right up to 6. And of course, the ACU count on both these databases is set to scale up to 128 ACUs. So I don't know why it didn't scale beyond 6. It's very strange. But anyway, it looks like the serverless instances were almost as good as a R6G 2XL. Not quite as quick, but pretty impressive nonetheless. So, thumbs up from me. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next video.